Yo, what is up everyone? Today I'm going to show you two longsword builds that are super awesome, super meta, DPS, very large, phallus, comfy longsword builds. So, without further ado, let's get right into them. These are actually builds I use on the regular, so you know they're good. Or perhaps you know they're bad. Either way, let's get into it. So, with this build, you will end up having 7 attack, 6 crit die, 3 crit boost, 3 weakness exploit, 3 quick sheath, which is very important for longsword, 3 speed sharpen or stun resist, whichever you prefer, 3 wirebug whisper, 3 chain crit, 1 max smite, 1 handicraft, which is optional, and some other miscellaneous perks. And the longsword we're using right now. Now, the longsword you use will determine like how many of these extra perks you'll have. If you choose to use a longsword with less slots, which is more than likely, this is the only longsword with three available slots for level 2 decorations. So if you were say to use the Rajang one, you'd probably be missing Handicraft or Wirebug Whisper, whichever one you can live without. With this build specifically, because we're using the Camellios longsword, we are actually over cap on Infinity, and that's even with 6 crit die. We're at 55% because of the 10% we're getting from max smite, as long as we maintain full stamina, which is not very difficult on longsword. But I'm using the Camellios for max comfy and to fit in as many skills as humanly possible. So, but again, in the event that you don't want to use this longsword, you can either drop the Handicraft, drop Wirebug Whisper, whichever you prefer. We are basically using our meta DPS template build that I showed off in a previous video. And the only difference is the barrier of embraces. So, Lunagaran Head has 2 crit die, 1 Wirebug Whisper, and 2 level attack deco slotted in. Archfiend for 2 weakness exploit, or 1 weakness exploit, 1 crit boost, 1 chain crit, and the 2 level 2 slots. Barrier of embraces, crit die, max smite, quick sheath, and the level 1 or level 2 slot. Archfiend, we have a level 4 Wirebug Whisper slotted in there. Again, if you don't want Wirebug Whisper, you can slot in or crit if you want, but you don't need it with using this longsword because you already have plenty. So you have your rest of your chain right there, your weakness exploit, and everyone's favorite peasant slot boots. Ingot Greaves, 2 attack, 2 crit die, speed sharpening slotted in. Now, our talisman, to make this work, you need not even the best talisman, honestly. We are using a talisman that has 2 quick sheath and 2 level 2 slots. So, I'm not using any of my godly talismans, but this is semi-godly, but you can definitely get a better quick sheath talisman than this. So hopefully you have a quick sheath talisman similar to this. If not, you'll just be missing some attack. You may need to slot in quick sheath somewhere else. But yeah, so to make this build work, you do need this specific kind of talisman. But if you don't, you can definitely make it work by just dropping one of the 4 attack decorations we're using here, or perhaps even just Wirebug Whisper, because Wirebug Whisper is more of a comfy skill, but it's really, really handy. So I like putting it in all my builds. And as well, you could also drop the Handicraft if you want. With the 1 Handicraft that I added, you have 30 hits of purple, as opposed to just the 20. I feel like 20 isn't comfortable enough depending on your playstyle. If you're doing like lots of counters and whatnot, you probably don't need as much Handicraft. If you're going really spammy, then you probably do. Our next build that we will be covering is a build that is meant for the Gazemagor longsword or Tigrex, whichever you prefer. Basically any longsword with negative affinity on it. This longsword, for instance, has negative 25% affinity on it, so it definitely needs some adjustments. It also has no slots. So, with this build specifically, it's good for any longsword with a negative affinity. You will have 7 attack, 7 crit die, 3 crit boost, 3 weakness exploit, 3 max smite, 3 quick sheath, 3 windproof, which is exclusively on the coil, 3 speed sharpen, One Wirebug Whisperer only, so you don't have that comfiness of just being able to get out of sticky situations and not having as fast of regen. But you at least get as close to 100% affinity as possible, especially with the Kashella decoration in the Rampage slot. After 5 hits, you will get an extra 15% affinity, which is more than enough. More than enough to get you over the negative. But more importantly, we are currently at 45. Literally just one hit gives us the 5%. So you only need to get one hit off, and get an extra 5% affinity with that one decoration. So it's definitely worth using in any build that needs to have its negative affinity compensated for. So as far as the armor and the weapons, using the Gaze Magor Longsword here, has a lot of purple, a lot of attack, and a lot of negative affinity. Lunagaron Helmet we're using again. We're using the Bareth Mail and the Bareth Man Braces to get our max might and some quick sheath. Rathlos Coil is the best coil you can use if you're not using Chain Crit. 2 attack and crit boost and a 2 slot. Greaves. Now, I am using my Godly Talisman here, so if you don't have a talisman like this, you will likely just lose 1 attack. So, yeah, this quick sheath is slotted in to get the 3rd quick sheath, but again, if you don't have this talisman, you'll just be losing 1 attack, which is okay. It's not the end of the world, but you don't have the luxury of having max Wirebug Whisper, but you hit really hard and you have a lot of purple sharpness with this build. Now, if you are using the Tigrex Longsword instead, you'll have way less purple, and you'll be hitting a little harder, and have a little more affinity. But you'll need to adjust your playstyle, not be as spammy with your attacks, since you'll have enough purple to rely on. Anyways, these are the 2 really comfy, really nice DPS Longsword builds I came up with. If you like these builds, please leave a like, leave a comment, tell me how, oh my god, your build is terrible for speedrunners. You should just do something terrible to yourself. Why aren't you using Dereliction? It's so good. It's like, ugh. Like, use Dereliction if you want. It's not hard. But I hope you enjoyed this build. I certainly did. But yeah, I'll be uploading more videos soon. I promise. I've been busy playing New World, so that's been taking most of my time. But you can find me on twitch.tv/RamusO5 if you want to say nice things to me, or if you want to say mean things. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Till next time, bye-bye, good night, and happy hunting!